Konnichiwa, Naki-san here again, and today we are looking at this. This, as you can see, is a Namco board, and what you can't tell is that this is a Namco System Super 23 Evolution 2, I believe the name is. If it's over that, or System 23 Evolution 2. Either way, it's an Evolution 2. Basically, this is a board that I found for sale on Killer List of Video Games, and I thought I'd get it for myself as a little gift to myself, since it was my birthday recently. And I got this, and it's taken a long time to come and get it sorted out, and finally it came today, even though it should have been coming on Saturday. Anyway. And yeah, I thought today would be a great day because I'd get this working, I'd be able to play it, and I'd be able to, show a video on it, and hopefully it works. What is this game, though, you might be asking for yourself? Well, this game is, when I find the manual, because I printed the manual out, I didn't actually get one, this game is Crisis Zone. This is actually the deluxe board set, and I have everything pretty much. I have everything but the cab. Well, I say everything but the cab. I've got the RGB board, this is a weird little piece of hardware. This actually takes the remember when I said about JVS? This board is technically JVS compatible. The only difference is it doesn't have a USB-A connector. It has a custom 12-pin Namco connector. I think it's a Molex connector. There's a 12-pin Molex connector, and what that is, that contains all the contains the same JVS signals, but it just has 5V attached to it as well. That just goes to one of their JVS I/O boards, which works on Time Crisis 3, which is quite nice. So if ever I got that board, I could just literally plug the same gun in, it should work. However, the video here isn't technically JVS compatible because JVS requires HV. RGB HV, which is red, green, blue, horizontal, vertical sync. Whether it's 15 or 31 kHz, that's dependent on the system and the game. But yeah, this is actually RGBS, which means composite sync, and I thought this was a 15 kHz board, and I learned a couple of things today, and that's that it's not. This is my little setup. This is little what is this? VGA to SCART adapter, but this is specific. I made this specifically for Crisis Zone before I had it, and this is basically to adapt any JVS VGA that's 15 kHz to SCART. Perfect, I thought. And then the only other thing I had to do was it sort of came with the feet a bit bent. The cage wasn't too bad. It was a bit crushed at the bottom. Well, not crushed, but a bit bent at the bottom. But this is solid steel, so you're not going to really. And all the boards inside are perfectly protected. I think. I think they are. Don't hold me to it. And over here, you see this massive fan? This is actually a 120mm fan, but this is no ordinary fan. This is a fan type I love. This is an AC fan, which basically means instead of having like 120mm DC at 12V, what that basically means is that's an AC fan, and that's running at 240V, and it sounds awesome. Also, there's a lot of airflow through it. But yeah, I thought this would be quite a fun project and get it working, have all the things. And actually, I don't have the actual gun with me, it's at work, but I have the motor from it. This is actually the recoil mech, and I'm just going to show you a bit. You see this little worm gear here, you see it just goes like that. And yeah, when I say I got most of the cab, I pretty much got almost all of the wiring, all the boards of the gun, except for the actual cab and the power supplies, and obviously I didn't get literally everything, and so I didn't have the power supply. I actually have this. This is what's its name? This is just a ATX power supply that I've heavily modified. I've got it, so I've got a fluorescent, not fluorescent, is it? No, a neon switch there. So basically, if that's on, there's AC power getting to this. I've got two LEDs here, which you won't be able to see. We've got one for, that's just saying there's DC power coming out, and that's saying the power is actually good. This is a switched AC cable, which goes over to a very dangerous connector over here, which is why it's far away from me, which goes over to here, and all the way over to this fan, because obviously that's a 240V fan. I can't run that off straight off these power looms. And that's the thing, this power supply was made for helping me with jammer boards, and it's helped great, but I've made it for, again, I made it specifically for this. Can you tell I really wanted this board? Well, the board I want to get is either Time Crisis 2 or Time Crisis 3, and I have seen, well, I've seen someone thinking of selling one, but I've not had any idea. He said he'd get back to me on the price, and he hasn't, so might be chasing it up today. Anyway, so yeah, I digress. Basically what I've been doing is we're trying to wire this up because I've got loads of wiring looms to try to get it working. And you'll notice at the minute there is no JVS port. There's only power, there's only VGA, and there's nothing else. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention is that there's no RCA connectors. That's your sound connector, and that goes over to this board here. This is the bass amp PCB, and all it is it takes your 3-channel input and has a section of relays and amplifiers and all that. You feed it 12 volts through that connector, and then your speakers go there. And it provides bass and 2 full range speakers. And yeah, the actual thing is that thing doesn't turn on until this board is ready to turn on. Which has led me to problem 1. It turns on, but as I'll show you. Now, as I said, this board is actually VGA, and I don't know if I completely said, I probably didn't, so I got distracted. The VGA cable goes into this, and you add 12 volt, and basically, you see that connector there? That's actually S-Video. For some reason, Namco thought it would be a great idea to, instead of having a VGA connector on the monitor, that they'd have a S-Video connector on the monitor instead. So, I don't know why. Anyway, well, that's hooked up to my TV over there through my amp, and so if we turn the power supply on, nothing will happen. Having the plug in would help. If we turn it on, I love the fan. And if we're lucky, which we probably won't be, unless it might not be on VGA, not VGA, it's S-Video. What are we on? Oh no, we are on S-Video. That's weird then. S-Video's not working for some reason. But this is what it does. It either does this, or if I'm lucky, it'll do a bit more. And well, basically, it just doesn't work. That's weird, actually. This is one of those weird boards you can never predict why it's not working. That would probably be it, actually. Yeah, just forgot. You do actually. I think you need the I/O board. Where is the wiring for this? Sorry, if you give me a second, because I completely forgot that you actually need to have the I/O board plugged in for it to do most things. But it's one of those fussy Namco games. Everything has to be just right before it'll turn on, and even then, if nothing is perfectly right, it doesn't work. Yeah, so sorry for the very impromptu video, but you'll see why I'm a bit annoyed. Well, I've already shown you partly why I'm annoyed, but that's not what it's actually doing. I wouldn't mind so much if it wasn't working, but here's the thing. When I ordered the board, the guy said he plugged it in, but he couldn't fully test it because he didn't. Not that he was trying to deceive me, but he just basically said, I plugged it into a monitor, it seems to work, it comes on fine, but I can't test the gun because I don't think the gun works on this Dell Studio monitor, and I can't find his exact words because pardon me, because basically the gun itself, you need the camera sensor for it to actually work, and that's a lot of details I'm going to go into, which is going to take way too much time to explain. Anyway, the I/O board is now connected almost. I just need a 12 volt wire. I had one about, where did I put it? There it is. So if I just quickly connect this. Very annoying thing about my phone when I'm using it to record is if I don't, if I pause the video and I wait, like I think it's like 30 seconds or something like that between pausing the video and actually restarting recording again, it actually won't record it. Anyway, so basically all I have to do, because of the way this wiring harness is, I actually have to put 12 volts directly into this connector, and the way I achieve that is I just literally push it in the wire. Anyway, let's turn this on again and listen to that lovely fan turn on. You see the I/O boards now come on. Pardon me. There's the LED. That's actually status LEDs, and sometimes it does a Knight Rider like thing. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes it doesn't do anything. Still getting nothing on the monitor. Oh, this is doing even less than it was before. That's great. But yeah, basically it does this. It either does this, or if I've still got the video, the image up. That's going to my sent items. Basically comes up like this. You see here, this is my TV. It just comes up with this gradient of a green, and it just doesn't do anything. The base amp, when it's connected, the base amp, this LED over there, that orange one, that one's very dim when that turns on. And after about maybe a minute and a half or a minute, that actual red, this one of the relays clicks on, and that LED turns on. So I assume that's the relay turning on to turn on the sound. But it just does nothing, just absolute nothing. It doesn't do anything. I mean, well, it either does that or the green screen over there, which is really annoying. Because obviously a lot of time went into this, waiting for this, and it's one of the boards I really wanted to get, and I can't use it. Not that I'm trying to rant against the setup, it's just really disheartening, you know? I bought it working, and it just doesn't want to work. So, I don't know what's going on with it. The only thing I can think of is when I was looking through, because one useful thing is that if you go over to the MAME world, MAMEdev.org, you can look through the MAME source code. And while you're thinking, well, source code's not going to help, because obviously it's a program. It's not going to help you repair an actual arcade board. Well, you're right and you're wrong. Partly, you can't use source code to repair your game, but you can sort of figure out how the game works. And I can't read C code for the life of me, but the Namco System 23 driver, which is this driver here, has an entire ASCII version of the CPU board, and it says here, I don't know if you'll be able to read that, C450. And what C450 is, if you read it, it says Namco, where is it? There it is. C450, right there, BGA. BGA is ball grid array, and if you know anything about PC graphics cards and laptops and various others, even the PS3s and the Red Ring, the Xbox 360s, all of them use graphics cards that use BGA nowadays, and BGA is known to fail when you've not got leaded balls. That basically means, now this is an old leaded board, which means it could have survived this. So, I mean, basically, I've been trying to figure out what could have happened with this board. Now, the original fan in this, because this came from the States, this actually had a 120 volt fan on it. It had a 120 volts fan on it, or I think it was from the States. I'm not sure where it was originally. But basically, the bearings in it hadn't failed, but if you had it in the wrong, if you had it in like the wrong angle or something, it just would grind. It wouldn't stop. It would still grind, but it would be very low. And the guy, when I took it to an electronics shop to say, does this even work? And he just basically put it onto a variable power supply, put it on, the fan was grinding a bit, and then he just shook it, and then it started working. And I'm thinking, no, that can't be right. So basically, I think the fan failed on the old thing, and this potentially could have overheated, because it could have been in a hot climate, very dusty. And so the graphics chip could have overheated. But here's the thing, I don't know if that's the case and Internet Explorer's crash. Wonderful. But yeah, there's that, and I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is that it's just shipping. Shipping could have killed it. But I really don't know, because it sort of half works and half doesn't, and I'm really annoyed by it. So, you know, I mean, I could potentially fix it, but I don't really want to. I mean, I have been known to fix stuff, but this is a board I care about, and I don't want to damage it. And Luke Morse has even done the same. I think it was, what was the name? It was basically Castlevania, but it was an arcade board. I think it was called what was it? AK something. Basically, it was Dracula X or something like that. I really cannot remember off the top of my head, but basically, it was an arcade board that was very expensive. He really wanted it to work. It didn't work, and he didn't repair it. Luke is fantastic at repairing stuff. He's repaired many things, and if you've watched any of his recent videos, especially where me and Jamie Sykes sent him a a Neo Geo 6 slot, he repaired it, and well, he didn't fully repair it, but then again, that board was in a serious state. It had so many traces damaged, so many things gone wrong with it, and yet he managed to get 5 slots on it working. And you know, I commend the guy. It's absolutely fantastic. I never saw that board working, and he managed to repair it. But even then, he wouldn't repair this arcade board because he didn't want to damage it or get it so it just didn't work. So he sent it in to repair. Now, I know a couple of people who might be able to help me. I mean, off the top of my mind, of course, Luke could help me with this, but obviously I could send this to him, but I can't send the metal cage, and I don't dare send the whole board to him, just in fear of it getting broken during shipping. Um, there's another guy in Australia who goes by the pseudonym of the Guru. He was I think he's still part of the MAME dev team. He's actually who dumps most of the game ROMs, but because of MAME World having issues regarding basically, I'm not going to go into the details, but I think there was a disagreement between him and one of the users called SmitDog, and basically he got banned from the site. I think he's still involved, but he has repaired many boards, including Time Crisis 2. Now you're thinking, Time Crisis 2, what's that got to do with anything? Time Crisis 2 runs on not this system, because only Crisis Zone runs on Evolution 2, but Time Crisis 2 does run on the System 23 and System Super 23, which is very similar to this board. So I could ask him. And there's like people on Jammer Plus I could ask, and there's people on MAME World. I can even ask people on KLOV. I really can't speak today. So I mean, I might just have to ask one of them, because there's no way, and not unless they say it's a graphical fault on C450, at which point I would take it to my workplace, I would reflow that chip, and if it works, fantastic. But it's so temperamental, it's always like caps, and I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I'll probably do. I'm really annoyed that it doesn't work, but what are you going to do, I suppose. I mean, the good thing is, it's in a nice case, and at least it's one of the... I've got the system, so legally I am allowed to play it on MAME, if it worked on MAME. Yeah, it doesn't actually work on MAME. There's emulation. I think it's incomplete emulation at the minute that's stopping it from working. Time Crisis 2 boots on MAME, but it goes in game, but it doesn't work still. It freezes at the Donkey Kong part of the stage, and if you've never played Time Crisis 2, you'll never understand it. But basically, it's like a hill, and you get bars rolled at you. It's Donkey Kong. But yeah, even that crashes, and the camera is not perfect on it, and I'm not saying anything bad. I really was stoked to hear that Time Crisis was even booting in MAME, because it's like a year ago or so, not a year ago, more than a year ago or something like that. It wasn't even booting. Well, it booted, but it could boot up to a red, like a sort of a mostly black and red screen, which just said System 23 booting, and didn't do anything. It really just got stuck. But it took like, I don't know, a couple of months before they actually got it booting with 3D graphics, which was great. Anyway, I'm digressing again. So yeah, there's loads of people I can ask, and I mean, it's not like this is an uncommon system. If people have fixed Time Crisis 2, there'll probably be fixes for this. Whether they'll be as easy, or whether I'll have to send it away, I don't know. Kind of annoying, but oh well. I've got the game. I can play it. Well, I can't play it, but I can at least know I've got it. And if emulation does improve the name, I can always play it on that in the meantime. But I thought I'd give a quick look into what I've been up to recently, and there's not been a whole lot else really. Puzzle Loop I still haven't fixed because I don't know what the issue is. I think it's ROMs, but I've no clue. But yeah, quick look at all of this stuff, and you know what? Actually, I'll show you this motor working, because on a 24-volt power supply, it's pretty funny. So if I go get the wires, and I'll join you in just a second. Here we go, people. 24-volt power supply on a 24-volt motor on Time Crisis Zone's recall.